The dark backstory of lynching in America. Step 1. What is lynching? Lynching is the mob killing of a person without legal trial, most commonly by hanging, but it often included burning, torture, mutilation, and humiliation. Let's be clear, it was never about justice. It was about control, fear, and racial terrorism. Step 2. Where did it come from? The term lynch law comes from Charles Lynch, a Virginia slave owner and judge in the 1700s. But lynching became widespread after the Civil War, during Reconstruction and Jim Crow, when black people were fighting for their freedom, land, and rights. Lynching was the white mob's way of saying, stay in your place or die. Step 3. Why did it happen? Black people were lynched for being too successful, owning land, speaking up, looking a white person in the eye, being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And here's what they won't teach you in school. Some black people were lynched because they refused to accept Christianity. Yes, you could be lynched for not reading the Bible, not going to church, or not praying to Jesus. That's a historical fact. If you practiced African spirituality, if you rejected the slave master's religion, you were seen as a threat. They didn't just want your labor, they wanted your soul. Step 4. Lynching was public entertainment. These weren't secret crimes. Lynchings were advertised in newspapers, turned into postcards, spectacles with children present. White families brought their kids to watch black bodies be burned alive, then posed for pictures like it was a holiday event. That's not just violence, that's ritual dehumanization. Step 5. The government protected it. Local police stood by. Courts let the killers go free. The U.S. government refused to pass federal anti-lynching laws for over 100 years. That means lynching was state-sanctioned terrorism. Step 6. It was psychological warfare. It wasn't just about killing black bodies. It was about killing black hope. The message was clear. We can do this to you anytime, anywhere, and no one will save you. And to this day, when you see police brutality on camera with no justice, that's modern-day lynching with a badge. Step 7. Black women were targeted. 2. Don't let history erase this truth. Mary Turner, 1918, was lynched while 8 months pregnant for speaking out after her husband was lynched. The mob cut her baby from her body and crushed its skull in front of a crowd. This wasn't random racism. This was a systemic war on black life. Step 8. Who fought back? Ida B. Wells, the fearless journalist who risked everything to expose lynchings. The black press, families, churches, and the NAACP. Remember, a man was lynched yesterday was their banner. They fought, they resisted, they kept the truth alive, even when it was dangerous to do so. Step 9. It wasn't just the South lynchings happened in New York, Indiana, California, Illinois, and yes, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas. Lynching wasn't Southern hate, it was American policy. Step 10. You can't just get over it. Lynching wasn't just physical, it was generational trauma. You can't heal what hasn't been acknowledged. You can't move on when the system that allowed it still exists under new names. Every time you hear someone say, slavery was a long time ago, remember, lynching happened in some people's lifetimes. Your great-grandparents knew someone who was lynched. And here's the wake-up call. You were lynched not just for being black, but for refusing to pray to white Jesus. Let that sink in. They murdered our people for not going to church, for not reading the slave Bible, for calling on their African gods instead of the colonizer's God. That's why they fear your awakening. Because once you stop praying to their God, you remember your power